growth and maintain. Elevate your brain to sustain and proclaim the things you want to obtain. But understand, in order to gain, you got to let go of certain things in order to change, or you fail to remain the same. What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of, I don't know, y'all haven't named these segments that I've been doing. So yeah, if you got a name, just drop it in the comments. I got some brainstorming, but I ain't came up with nothing that I want to go with yet. You understand me? So yeah, for right now, we just gonna call these segments free game. You feel me? Free game from E. But so yeah, first, like, comment, subscribe. You understand me? All the support is appreciated. Yeah, we're just trying to grow and add value to the community, connect the culture, growth and maintain. Just trying to elevate your brain to sustain and proclaim the things you want to obtain. But yeah, so we're gonna get straight into it. I got a lot of people that always saying that they want to get involved with investing and that they want to start kind of getting on the things that I'm doing, but they don't know where to start and they don't understand it. So in this video, I just kind of want to give you some free game on how to get started when it comes to investing. So yeah, let's get straight into it. First off, I am not a financial advisor. You understand me? I'm only going to give you advice, but I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you some advice that I wish somebody would give me. You feel me? So yeah, this video we're going to be breaking down how to get involved with stocks. I'll do another video on how you want to get involved, how you can get involved in crypto, but I want to start off with stocks. So yeah, first off, the first thing you want to do when you get started in stocks is you want to have an idea of what you going in here, what perception you going to have going into investing. You understand me? You want to have an understanding on whether or not you will be a long-term investor or a short-term investor. And you want to have that understanding because, like I said in the previous video, you do have access to your portfolio. You understand me? Unless you set up a Roth IRA or custodial account where you don't have access to it as you would in a regular account. So yeah, you want to have an understanding of, are you going to be a long-term or a short-term investor, because that'll play a pivotal role when you start to see profits. You understand me? Me personally, I'm for the long game, because the long term, because you understand me, that's how you create generational wealth. And that should be everyone's goal. You understand me? Given that most of us don't come from nothing, you gotta lead with something. You feel me? But so yeah, once you establish that, and first off, it ain't nothing wrong with short-term investment. You understand me? I teach y'all some tricks and on how to maneuver with that later on. But there's definitely nothing wrong with short-term, but long-term investing should be something you consider, just because that's how you create generational wealth. You understand me? That's how the rich get richer. That's how all these rich people are able to ensure that they kids and they kids set up for the future, because they long-term invest. But anyway, yeah, after you do that, the second thing you want to do, you want to look for valuable companies. So how do you find valuable companies? Well, first off, you want to look for companies that, one, can generate cash revenue, that have decent quarterly and yearly cash flow. You understand me? Cash is key when it comes to stocks to invest in. You want to look for companies that are innovating for the future, solving problems. You understand me? Because that's a big space that I'll get into later on in this video. And you want to look for companies that are more supply and demand based, and that's big too. So those are just some, those are just 4 tips I advise that you look for when you start to invest in these companies. You understand me? And for this video, I'll be using Apple as an example to really break these down, just because Apple is an easy company to really introduce someone to stocks that doesn't know anything about them. So I'm gonna break the game down to you. You feel me? Okay, so boom. So when you go look at Apple, you understand me? Apple generates, first off, like I referenced, everyone gonna always have the latest iPhone. So therefore, Apple is always able to generate cash revenue. You understand me? And then, how many AirPods you done lost? I was reading this study. I done lost 2 pair. Well, I done had 2 pair. But I was reading this study, and it was like I can't remember the exact quarter last year, but AirPods accounted for a crazy amount. I can't even remember the amount, but I remember reading like, so just by Apple having products that they're able to generate cash revenue from, and then with them having multiple products that they can generate cash flow from, you understand me? This makes Apple a good company to invest in, simply because they have a great cash flow. You understand me? And also Apple is able to, they're able to hold their cash. They have a lot of cash on reserve. Understand me? And like I said, when you have cash, it's king when it comes to stock, because a company that has cash, they're able to not only scale upward, they're able to go into these different fields. And one thing you will realize as you get more in depth with stocks and things, you'll realize that it's only a handful of companies that have enough cash and have access to enough cash to go into all these different emerging spaces. And by doing this, they're able to scale and ultimately create a conglomerate of businesses and become a monopoly in a sense, because they have the cash to do so. You know what I'm saying? Like Amazon is basically in everything nowadays. Like they do ship, they got online services, they have the TV, they have their own TV network, they got the Alexa dot, yeah, like they employ over 1 million people. You understand me? So that's pretty big. And then they're constantly scaling. So, and the reason that they're able to do this is because they have a lot of cash flow. You understand me? And with that cash flow, they're able to keep cash on reserve and to scale these different areas that they're going into. So yeah, that's one thing you definitely want to look into when you start to look for companies. And there are a lot of great companies out there. You understand me? Those two that I just named are just the two easiest to really grasp the concept that I'm trying to help you understand. So yeah, you always want to look for companies that can generate consistent cash revenue and that have a great amount of cash on hand, because a company that has cash is dangerous, so to speak. And third, you want to look, and I hope you're taking notes. You understand? I'm only going to give you four lessons. You understand? You can take them and get into some great stocks this year, especially around once quantitative easing ends and the interest rates rise and stocks pull back. That's gonna be the best time to invest in. That's not financial advice though. but yeah, the third thing you want to look at is companies that are innovating. You understand me? I was working at a fast food place and I was talking to all my coworkers, and like I was telling them, I was like, y'all understand that one day we won't even be able to get a job working fast food. It'll be way harder than it is now. Nowadays you can walk into McDonald's and get a job on site, start the same day. You feel me? Just because like they need workers or something like that. But yeah, like I said, there's companies out here that are creating robots to automate these processes. Like, okay, you know what I'm saying? They have robots that can cook on the fryer, that can cook on, like, I think it's White Castle. They have to where they cook the burgers and the fries. You understand? They literally have robots that flip the burgers. Like, imagine that, bro. Like, who would ever thought that we'd be right here? You understand me? To where robots are literally taking jobs before our eyes. But you don't even know about that because you don't hear about it. You won't hear about it until it becomes more mainstream, until they're able to adopt it across the nation and is really able to take over some jobs. You understand me? They don't want you to know about it when it's only taking over a couple jobs here and there. You understand me? They only gonna let you know when it's too late. So yeah, you can look into companies that are doing things to innovate, and that's just an example of one way companies can innovate. You understand me? Climate change is becoming a big problem nowadays. You understand? I know y'all noticed that it's not really cold anymore. It's more, we have more warm days during the winter months than we ever had before. You understand me? You have glaciers melting daily in Antarctica. You understand me? You have one that I was reading, you got one the size of Florida that's melting, and if that was to melt, it'll raise sea levels by 10 feet. So that kind of gives you a perspective of just how big that is and how important climate change is when it comes to that. You understand me? So yeah, climate change is definitely, it plays a big part in a lot of different things, and I'm not well versed when it comes to climate change. I will say that. You understand me? But I do know that there's companies out there that are trying to work to something with the carbon. So I'm not even gonna speak on it because I don't know about it. You feel me? But yeah, so climate change could definitely be something like people are innovating to help sustain the future. You understand me? And also energy, with energy being not as, well, I'll take that back. Energy will be more valuable than it is today. You understand me? Just like with energy vehicles, that will be a great space come one day, because soon there'll be things, mandates in place to where you can't have cars that run off gas just because it's bad for the environment. You understand me? You won't have the luxury. I was reading in New York, they passed a mandate. I think it's 2035. They want their state to be electric. So that just kind of speaks to the energy space, and energy that's that'll be a good field to look into. So and then the fourth one, because I don't want to make this video too long, you know, so I just want to kind of give you a few gems to take with you. But the fourth one would be supply and demand. And with supply and demand, if you understand that, I'm pretty sure we all remember how supply and demand works. You understand me? We have limited supply, the demand for it goes up. That's why, like for an example, do you know what a semiconductor is? You probably don't. So I'm gonna put you on. You understand me? Semiconductors are these small little chips that are in everything that has to do with technology. You understand me? Your phone has it. Your TV has it. Your car, if you got a car with a little digital touchscreen display, that can hook up to Apple Play, Series X6, all those things contain semiconductors. You understand me? And I'm pretty sure you didn't even hear about it, but last year there was a shortage on these conductors. So, you know what I'm saying? It's only, so that goes with supply and demand. You understand me? With there being a shortage, these companies that produce and make these semiconductors, they're able to now generate even more cash revenue because it's a limited supply. So if you have all these car manufacturers that are waiting on these semiconductors before they can make new cars, you understand me? They're willing to pay these companies even more to try to get them, just to get them before their competitor does. So you had a lot of semiconductor stocks that went up because of supply and demand. You understand me? And shout out to Ian, because like he put me on to AMD when it was at like 79. Yeah, he called it it was at 99. He called it at 79. I got in at 79. You understand me? Hit a high of 153 in 2021. It's on a little pullback right now. But yeah, like, so just understanding how supply and demand works, you're able to get in on these stocks that are destined to have long-term growth. You understand me? And see, with a semiconductor company, that adds value to not only for supply and demand, but also when you look at innovation. Like I mentioned with these robots that will soon be in fast food, and not only fast food, Amazon, they're experimenting with some too. You gotta look into that. Yeah, Domino's got the little robot that can deliver your pizza and stuff. Like, man, it's gonna be crazy in a few years. I can't hold you. You gotta get on to it. But yeah, so when you look at that aspect of it, all these things, they gonna need these semiconductors. You understand me? So you have, and AMD not just the only company. You understand me? You have Nvidia, you have TSM. So you have a lot of different companies. Those are just three that I like. But so yeah, you want to look for those four things when you start to invest in stocks. Like I said, you want to look for cash flow, excuse me, talking too much. Cash flow, cash revenue. You want to look for companies that have cash on hand. You understand me? Having cash revenue and cash on hand are two different things. You understand me? So I'll break it down briefly because I went over it at the beginning, I believe. So if you have cash revenue, that's like Netflix. You understand? Well, that'll probably be a bad. What's a good example? Okay, Zoom. Boom. Last year when the pandemic, well, 2020 when the pandemic hit, you understand me? Zoom, they were able to generate, and I don't know what the cash flow is, cash on hand is, but they were able to generate cash revenue on a consistent basis because everybody home. You can't go to work. So everybody is using this web service to interact. You understand me? With this video service to interact. So they were able to generate cash flow just for people using their platform. And Peloton would be an example, a better example. Peloton, the workout bike, they were able to generate cash flow, cash revenue on a consistent basis during the pandemic because the gyms closed. People at home, they still want to work out and get active. You understand me? So that's how they were able to generate cash revenue. But you understand me? When gyms open back up, you see what happens? You understand me? So that'll be a good, Peloton would be a good example of how a company wasn't able to keep, I'm not saying they wasn't able to keep cash flow consistent, but they wasn't able to keep it consistent. You feel me? But so yeah, and then like I said, with innovations, I named a few in this video, but that doesn't even cover the magnitude of just the direction everything is going. You understand me? It's, man, I could really sit here and just talk about all the things that I read about, that I'm well versed in, that I understand is coming, and because it's already here. You understand me? But I'm gonna leave that up to you, and hopefully we can have a conversation about it. But and then also you want to look for companies that supply and demand. The semiconductors are they're great supply and demand stocks. You understand me? Because with there being a shortage and with it being a long process to manufacture these chips, that adds value as well, because when you do have them, they get bought up quick, which ensures cash revenue. You understand me? And then with companies wanting before the competition, you understand me? If you have these people, these companies competing to, all right, who's gonna get them first? I'm not saying they have bidding wars to, all right, I'm gonna give you 10 billion so I can get a million chips. I'm not saying that's what they do, but you know what I'm saying? Like, crazy world out here. You got the money, you got the power. You understand me? So, sorry about that. My camera cut off, so I don't know how much recorded, how much talking I was doing after the recording shut off. But to pick up where I think I left off, I haven't looked at the footage yet, so hopefully this is where I left off at. But yeah, if you can't gain exposure to just one of these companies, you understand me? Like if you look up or you start doing research and you realize that Apple's 173 right now, I may not be able to buy one share of it, or Amazon is 3,200. I can't just go and put that. I can't just go and buy one share of that. You understand me? Or if you're not able to buy shares of these companies, I know there are apps out there that let you buy fractional shares, which is cool. But understand, when you buy a fractional share, well, I don't buy fractional shares. So if you want to do that, you do it. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm here to give you some game. So yeah, another way to own all of these stocks without having to allocate so much money to them individually is to gain exposure through ETFs. What are ETFs? Well, ETFs are exchange traded funds. You understand me? So what are these exchange traded funds? They're a collection of all these stocks I just named. You understand me? You have stocks out there that contain Amazon, Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, AMD, Nvidia. They contain Square. They contain all these stocks, and they give you exposure. By you owning that ETF, you gain exposure to all of these stocks. You understand me? So basically, instead of you owning just one share of Apple, you now own shares of all the stocks I just named by owning that ETF. You understand me? And also ETFs are definitely a great way for you to, you know what I'm saying, if you want to take the safer, more conventional route, for say you're working, you have a 401k, and you want to ensure that you secure your retirement funds. The ETF route could work for you because it gives you exposure to all these high growth companies and then it also minimizes, it doesn't eliminate, it minimizes your downside. You understand me? So let's say Apple retraces to $139 from that 173 area it's at right now. Instead of you losing $44, you're able to lose, let's say you're not going to lose $44. Okay, basically you're not going to lose that $44 because you don't own that one share of Apple. You understand me? It's only a portion. You own a portion of Apple because it's inside of that ETF. So yeah, ETFs were definitely great ways for you to take. They're more conventional route, safer route, and they're also beneficial. You understand me? Because not everybody got the money to just go buy up 1,000 shares of Amazon. Like, come on now, you got it like that, I commend you. But but yeah, so, and also I don't know if I mentioned it, but also have a number. Like, come up with a number of the stocks that you choose to invest in, how many shares you want. You understand me? Because you're not going to create generational wealth by holding 5 shares of Apple for 20 years. Like, Apple can be at $900 in 20 years, but you only own 5 shares of it, so you're not going to reap as much as you would had you had a higher number of shares. You understand me? So that's important as well. You always want to make sure that you come up with a number that you want to have. My personal number, I aim to have 1,000 shares in each company that I invest in for the long term. Yeah, that's my goal, but that doesn't have to be yours. You know what I'm saying? But get you a number that works for you and that you want to work towards. You understand me? If I start editing and realize there were things I didn't go over, you understand me, I'll just add them in a new video. But like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you for watching the video to the end. Hope you picked up on some game. You understand me? And I hope you go apply it, because it's one thing to get the game, but it's another for you to go take it and apply it yourself, because that's the only way you're going to get the results that you want. You understand me? And you go apply it. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share, tap in.